Okay, sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Good evening to all my dear audience of this webinar on geoinformatics on a real-world solution. Symbiosis Institute of Geoinformatics, in association with Indian Society of Geomatics, Pune chapter, welcome you all in this today's webinar. What a coincidence that we have a World Ozone Day, 16th September. And ozone depletion is also one of the responsible reasons for hydrometeorological extremes across the world. The topic geoinformatics and real-world solution is a very apt topic for the today's condition. How spatial technology play to deal with the problem of hydrometeorological solution, and when pupil-to-pupil contacts are very limited nowadays. Solution beforehand provide us enormous time for the contingency planning. To all the solution beforehand provides us a time of to aware, and today's global economy in their worst condition in the last 90 years. Since 1930, global economic depression was occurred. Till now, we have not seen this kind of the situation. Out of this economic loss, the global economic suffered a loss of almost 232 billion, around 16.5 lakhs crore due to a natural disaster in a last year only. Beforehand information of disaster may reduce that economic loss in all across the world. In this way, that SIG has also developed a comprehensive drought monitoring system, and which we have put in our website to utilize for different disaster management and agriculture agencies. And this system is depend on a real-time satellites data to assessment of vegetation condition index, precipitation condition index, temperature condition index, soil moisture condition, to create advanced drought monitoring systems. And that is totally depend upon geospatial platform, and which provide you a real-time drought monitoring all across Maharashtra, which is a state of India. In this note, I welcome in this session today's chairman, Dr. Shailesh Nayak ji. Dr. Nayak sir does not require any introduction, at least in the field of geospatial and earth sciences across world. However, sir, it is a customary, and kindly allow me to introduce you, sir. Dr. Shailesh Nayak sir ji is currently director of National Institute of Advanced Studies and distinguished scientist in the Ministry of Earth Sciences. He was the secretary of Ministry of Earth Sciences between August 2008 and 2015, if I am not wrong, sir. He provided a leadership for the program related to science of climate change, weather services, polar science, geosciences, ocean science, and modeling ocean survey resource and technology. Dr. Nayak joined Space Application Center, which is a branch of Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, which is basically a space agency of Government of India, in 1978 as a scientist, and subsequently elevated as the Director of Marine and Water Resources. Dr. Nayak was appointed as a Director of NIAS Hyderabad, an autonomous institution under Ministry of Earth Sciences, in 2006. Dr. Nayak is the chair of National SCAR Committee, Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, Research Advisory Committee of CSIR, NIRI, Nagpur, SO National Antarctic and Ocean Research Center, Goa, and Defense Terrain Research Laboratory, that is DTRL, Delhi. He has chaired an expert group of conceptualized to establish national GIS in a country. Dr. Nayak, he is the president of a Federation of Indian Geoscientists Association, India, Indian Geophysical Union, Indian Society of Remote Sensing, and Indian Mangrove Society. Dr. Nayak has published about 150 papers in peer-reviewed journals and delivered about 190 invited talks in national and international fora. I invited Nayak sir to deliver his chair speech on this session and subsequently to take ahead this session. I also want to tell to audience, after completion of lecture, they can put their question on chat box, which will be directly transferred to our chairman. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for a very kind introduction, and I'm really very happy to participate in this webinar on the spatial intelligence for the real world solution. And I think it's very timely, and as we have been seeing that the hydro-meteorological extremes are becoming more frequent and more destructive, which causes very large amount of economic losses, also several thousands of fatalities. There is now evidence that the ongoing climate change is increasing in its frequency, and it is likely to further increase in future. Some of the changes which we have been seeing is the increase in frequency of the rise of the hot days and nights, duration and intensity of heat waves, precipitation intensity, and then resulting floods, landslides. We have been seeing this in Kerala currently, and the mud flows, frequency, length, and droughts of the droughts. Dr. Singh mentioned about the drought, which is very important. Also the glacial retreat, and because of the retreat, the formation of the lakes, and then ultimate outburst. The tropical cyclone intensity and storm surges, sea level rise, and there are many such things which we are seeing that it is continuously on rise. At the same time, this all such affects various infrastructure facilities, and also in some places, because of this, there is a displacement of a population as well. Now, in this, the spatial intelligence, spatial starts with the basically remote sensing data, is essentially means that what information you are deriving from the variety of sources. And we have been seeing that the satellite data, which includes the optical and microwave radiometers, scatterometers, altimeters, as well as very high resolution multispectral and these panchromatic stereo data. And also we have seen that many of these data sets are now regularly being assimilated into various numerical weather prediction models. And it has proved that the accuracy like cyclone track and landfall point, or the precipitation forecast, or the forecast of the glacial changes, there are many, all such cases, there are evidences that the satellite data have been very much useful. Now, using this kind of information and the forecast which is generated, various advisories are being generated. And this advisories nowadays also integrated with the various field level information, as well as various information about the population or a census or various administrative boundaries, the village boundaries or a ward boundaries. And this together have been extremely well used to essentially to save the lives. And we have seen in India that in last 20 years, the cyclone which we used to lose people more than 20, 30,000 has been now reduced almost to 10 to 20. So that's a dramatic change in saving the lives of the people by using the geospatial data. The recent one example of a such expert system has been integrated flood warning system for the Chennai. The system actually integrates three different kinds of forecast: the weather forecast, the tide and the storm forecast. Also, it runs hydrological, hydrodynamic and flood models, along with the high topographic details discerned from the LIDAR, or the which is accuracy up to 50 centimeter, the drainage and many other things. And then the ward-wise inundation magnitude is being given in near real time. And this is something which is extremely found to be useful in Chennai. And similar system has been now being implemented or already implemented in Mumbai. Similarly, in India, we have expert system for the tsunami warning. We have for the cyclone. So many such warning systems are now being actually designed around the geospatial data. And this, I think, is the one which is extremely important thing that helps us to mitigate some of the dangers or the effects of these extremes. So I think the discussion today, what we have been organized by Professor Singh, is extremely useful. And I'm very happy to say that two very leading experts, Dr. Atul Sahai, who was my colleague, is still my good friend, and very happy to know about Dr. Chadi Abdallah, who will be telling us about how this information is used for certain extreme events, like in the extreme precipitation events or the forest fire, forest fire is extremely important. We know in the West Coast, about 2 million 2 million acres area is under fire, and all this is essentially happening because we are not respecting the nature's laws. And I think on the Ozone Day, organizing this is extremely useful. And I would like to compliment Dr. Singh and his colleagues to organize this very important aspect on the Ozone Day. And my greetings to all the participants. I see there are many participants, and I would now like first to invite Dr. Sahai to give his talk. But before he starts his presentation, I would like to give a brief introduction of Dr. Sahai. Dr. Atul Kumar Sahai is the project director of Monsson Mission and leading the group of extended range prediction at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune. Since 2016, he is also coordinator of India-UK Water Center, a virtual center under Indo-UK collaboration through MoES. Dr. Sahai has made noteworthy contributions in understanding regional aspects of climate change over Indian subcontinent. He has worked on understanding the climate projections over Indian subcontinent related to various features of monsoon rainfall and associated circulation. He has developed statistical prediction system for the probabilistic prediction of seasonal mean as well as intra-seasonal fluctuation of Indian summer monsoon. His most remarkable research led to the development of dynamical ensemble prediction system for predicting the intra-seasonal oscillation of the Indian summer monsoon season. Dr. Sahai has formulated several strategies for application of this extended range forecast in agriculture, hydrology, health, and disaster management. He has published 140 scientific research papers in peer-reviewed journals, and which has a cumulative impact of 270 and citations over 2,500. In addition, he has delivered more than 160 invited and keynote addresses in various international and national fora. With these few words, may I now invite Dr. Atul Sahai to make his presentation. Dr. Sahai, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for a nice introduction. My internet is slightly unstable, so sometimes you have to bear with this. I am sharing my presentation.
Dr. Sahai, you can take about 20-25 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So topic of my talk is hydroclimatic extremes and geospatial techniques. Something is...
No, it is quite all right. There is no problem.
Okay.
Atul, what you can do is you can, if there is a problem, you switch off your video, then there won't be any problem. Yeah.
Okay, okay. How to switch off? Okay, so climatic extremes are generally what we mean by extremes is if some climatic value or some parameter is above it some threshold value. If it is above and closer to the optimal means upper limit, upper ends, or even if it is below and closer to the lower ends for the observed values, it will cause extreme events. So these extreme events are characterized in three different